Hi, everybody. We're going to pick up where we left off. So we now know his name. Real name Castle, nickname George. We know that the coach is interested in having him on the team, even though he says he's a basketball player. And right now he's in the taxi with Coach, about to go ask Mom when he sees Mom walking. Hold on. Pull over, I repeated. That's my mother. Coach pulled to the side of the street and rolled down the window. Ma, I called out, waving to her. She looked, then looked again, trying to make sure I was who she thought I was. Cass, she said, approaching the cab. What are you doing in a cab? Matter of fact, what are you doing in the front seat of a cab? No, answer the first question. What are you doing in a cab? Hop in, I said. No, you hop out, she replied. Ma, ma'am. Coach leaned over so she could see him. It's fine. Hop in. I'm just giving him a ride home. Then he added, on the house. Coach swiped everything in the back seat to one side as I reached in and opened the door. My mother stood outside the car for what seemed like minutes before she decided to climb in. And even after she did, she kept the door open, one foot still on the sidewalk so she could jump back if needed to. Her bag, which I knew was full of styrofoam containers of chicken and gravy or whatever gross but free meal we were going to have for dinner, crunched on the seat beside her as she finally pulled her leg in and closed the door. How was work? I asked as Coach pulled back into the street. Cass, don't how was work me. Why are you in a cab? And excuse me, sir, no offense, but who are you? She asked. Told you, moms don't trust nobody around their kids. Coach adjusted the rearview mirror so he could see my mother in the back. I'm Coach Brody, but everybody calls me Coach. I run the Defenders City Track team. Uh-huh. And your son came and sat in on my practice today? Coach threw a quick glance at me. Did you know he could run? Did I know he could run? She was sitting directly behind me, but I could still feel the heat of her eyes burning through the headrest, scorching the back of my neck. Yeah, he can run, like really run. My mother just sort of grunted. I knew better than to say anything or even turn around and look back at her. I just said to Coach, make this left when we got to my street. Coach made the left and continued. And I think he's got potential. With the proper coaching, he could be a serious problem. I felt like I had seen this in every single sports movie I had ever watched. All of them. Ma'am, your son has potential. And if it went like the movies, I was either going to score the game-winning touchdown, which is impossible in track, or die. Sir, I appreciate that, but let me tell you something. Cass already is a serious problem, my mom explained, and right now he needs to focus on school, not sports. Right here, I murmured, to let Coach know where to stop and let us out. I figured there was no reason to drag the conversation out. It went exactly like I thought it would. So I wasn't even really mad about it. He put the blinker on, pulled over, and put the car in park. Listen, Coach turned around to look at my mother in the face. I totally get that. But what if I made you a deal, he went on. If he messes up in school one time, he's off the team. One time? I squawked. One time. Coach held his hand out to my mother. I kept my eyes forward until I heard her exhale the quick breath of a long day. You going to get him home every day? She asked. Yes. What about his homework? It'll be done. He sounded pretty confident for not even knowing me like that. Coach gave us both one of his cards. I put mine in my backpack while Mom gazed at hers, making sure everything was legit. Then she let out another big sigh, this time probably the breath of a worried mom. Well, at least I know where I'll be after school, she gave in. And that was it. Just like that, for the first time in my whole life, I was on a team. Chapter 3. World record for the most altercations. What do they call criminal records? Not criminal records. They call them something else. Rap sheets? Yeah, that's it, rap sheets. Which is such a dumb name because it makes me think of rap music. Like maybe a rap sheet is what rappers write their rhymes down on. But yeah, rap sheets. I got one of those. Not a real one, though. Like the one real criminals have. No, I got a school rap sheet. But in school, they call it a file. I got a file. And even though I've never actually seen it, it has to be pretty big because I'm always being sent down to the principal's office or put in detention or suspended for shutting down people for talking smack. Oh, Castle, why you clothes so big? Why your pants so small? Why your name Castle? Why you always smell like you walked 1,000 miles to get here? Why it looked like somebody tried to cut your hair with a butter knife? And my response would be, well, let's just use the schooly term, not exemplary behavior. But I made a decision that there would be no more entries into this file. The file would be closed forever because now my new career in track, which was really my soon-to-be career in basketball, was at stake. All of a sudden, I had too much on the line. There'd be no more altercations. That's the word Mr. Principal Marshall always used on the phone with my mother, altercations. And I was altercation free for 17 hours and 2 minutes. 2 of those hours were spent watching one of those corny, romantic, mushy movies with my mom. She loves those things, and every night when we're eating dinner, she sits on the couch in the living room and watches one when she opens mail and clips coupons. I always spread all my blankets out on the floor, 3 to 4, to make what Mom calls a pallet, which is where I eventually doze off. She takes the couch. We haven't slept in our room since Dad. It's too weird for her to sleep in the room they slept in, and I got this thing about being as close to the door as possible, just in case we have to get up and run again. Plus, now that I've gotten older, I just want to make sure I'm near her in case I gotta go protect her. So yeah, that was 2 hours, 9 p.m. Then I was asleep for 10 hours. I'm grumpy when I don't get at least 8. Some people would say I'm grumpy even when I do, but they don't know nothing. 7 a.m. Snooze. 7:05 a.m. Snooze. 7:10 a.m. Cass, get your butt up for school. I'm not playing. 7:20 a.m. Lay there around looking around the living room. Up at the light in the ceiling, the glass thing that covers the bulb has dead bugs in it. Under the couch, there are toys that I don't even remember playing with. Look at the pictures on the wall, me at 9, and at 8, and at 7 when Ma was experimenting with giving me a mohawk, but no pictures of the family. Then finally it was time to get up, 8 a.m. 10 minutes spent in the shower, 10 minutes getting dressed, and 10 minutes eating breakfast. Toast with peanut butter and honey, 8:30 a.m. 17 minutes walking to school, 8:47 a.m. Homeroom dismissed, 9:10 a.m. 45 minutes in English class where we were reading Lord of the Flies, which, by the way, is a crazy book, 10 a.m. Then 45 minutes in math class, which is basically 45 minutes of Maureen Thorne raising her hand every single time Mr. Granger asked a question so she could go up to the board and write an answer. Such a show-off. She's like that geeky version of Lou. So yeah, that happened 10:50 a.m. And then there was social studies class, which I usually call nap time because we never really study nothing social. Like, I don't know, social media or social events like parties. All social studies is a stupid way to say history. It's like the rap sheet of history or something like that. Anyway, I would usually snooze through it, but it was a new day and I was turning over a new leaf, so I stayed awake. Didn't really focus too much on nothing being said, but my eyes were wide open, 11:40 a.m. And then lunch. You know who ate lunch in the same time I did? Brandon Simmons. Jack from Lord of the Flies, a power-hungry dummy and the single most annoying dude in the 7th grade. He owned that record, a record that's really hard to own because there are a lot of annoying dummies in 7th grade. Trust me, I know. But none like him. Because he stayed back a year. He was a year older than everybody. Dude was as dumb as dirt. And that wouldn't have been so bad if he had at least been cool, but he wasn't. Plus, he was taller than most of us, so he treated everybody like chumps, especially me. Just made it to the cafeteria, 11:44 a.m., got in line. Brandon came in after me and bumped me, and then seeing that I ignored him, decided to step in front of me. Shaq, he said. Shaq was what he called me as his lame way of making fun of the fact that my name is Castle. You don't mind me butting in front of you, right? I mean, it's not like you haven't had cafeteria food before. You probably had some last night, right? He shrugged and hit me with another one. Right? The only reason Brandon ever knew about my mother is back when we were in 4th grade. Yes, I've known him that long. My mother thought it would be a good idea to come and speak at Career Day, and Brandon had used it as fuel ever since. He grinned, then looked around to make sure other people had heard him, which was always the most important part of his jerkness. And then a few more, right? I sat at the table, 11:50 a.m., the same table I sat every day with my 2 friends, Dre Anderson and Red Griffin. I met Dre this year, and we hit it off because he's a ball player too. Plays for the Boys and Girls Club, and he told me I should have played, but I missed the tryouts on purpose. Thing is, Boys and Girls Clubs don't ever really cut nobody. Everybody can just sign up and play, but who wants to be on a team with a bunch of pity players? I don't want to bust Dre's bubble because that ain't cool, but for me, I'm too good to play on a team like that. I mean, I don't really know that, but I know that, you know? And Red, well, I've known him a long time. We've been cool since 5th grade, mainly because even though we're never really talked about anything bad, we both kind of knew something bad happened to us. Like for me, the best way to describe it is I got a lot of scream inside, and I could see that Red did too. He was a white boy with red hair, who everyone was friends with, mainly because people were scared that he was crazy, and it's better to be on crazy's good side. Jessica Grant said her mother said the only reason people have red hair is because they're red on the inside. Red like Violet. I have black hair, so does that mean I'm black on the inside? Anyway, Brandon came down and sat next to Red at the table. He usually sits farther down with the other gas mounts, but not today. Today he sat down right next to us. We're going to stop there.